So be very clear about that. I'm not laying blame on anyone. So I think that's a very concerning issue that probably needs to be looked at and probably needs to be addressed. I think this idea of the volunteer coordinator is very promising. I think one thing that's kind of problematic for people in the neighborhood that want to volunteer to help is that they don't really know how. And when you contact someone, you know, you don't really get good information. I don't think anybody wants to take on a park, you know, on their own. But if there is some way that the neighbors could regularly get involved in maintaining the parks, I think there's people out there that would be interested in doing that. And the process needs to be facilitated in some way that makes it more easier for people to do that, to jump on board. I mean, I've even talked to people who thought they couldn't do anything in the park because it's city property, and if they did anything, that, you know, they would get into trouble.
Wow.
That's how ridiculous it is.
It's a good day to start because today's National Neighborhood Day.
Yeah.
Well, I see a lot of good things coming out of it. So,
and I know that Keep Albuquerque Beautiful does their little thing twice a year, but it's not terribly effective. I think it could work better, and that part of the problem is they only do it twice a year, so there's only 2 opportunities, and you know there's only a limited number of people that can jump in.
Yeah, there's a real need to actually help structure the volunteer experience, whether it's through training. And if we follow the open space model, they go through a training program. They go through a, like, where do you want to volunteer at program, and it tends to be specific areas for specific people. They love the foothills, or they love the bosque, or they love whatever, fill in the blank. And then the key is to organize events in which people can participate. I believe that's going to happen with park management. We've never looked at it that way. The sort of volunteering was always looked at as a nice-to-have type function, and now it's going to be a commitment of both an individual and some folks that are able to work on weekends and support stuff like that. So I think that'll be a big help as far as structuring how do we clean up specific parks. I've been in a number of the volunteer projects, both out at Balloon Fiesta Park. We did one this past year over at Alamosa Park where we had 125 people that came in and helped kill weeds, paint, shade structures, put the bark mulch on the tree circles around the trees. And those are all labor-intensive things, and to have 125 people come in and help do that was an amazing event. And we did that with, we just had 1, 2, 3 of us that went out and helped. Well, we had a few more from solid waste, so we maybe had 5 city employees that supported that event with materials, stuff, tools, and that makes a huge difference for the neighborhood. To be able to say, hey, we did this together. That's a big deal.
I think it's a great way to build a commitment and connection, you know, in the neighborhood. We sometimes organize this type of events. The neighborhood association does it. All these it's a great feeling. It is.
Don't you really feel that volunteerism in neighborhood associations is really the way that we should be thinking to help in our parks?
Yes,
that group up there where Becky Tase's memorial is a good example. They are in that park all the time, maintaining it. It seems like, Diane, your neighborhood association that's associated with.
We don't have one in my area. I purposely live in a neighborhood that doesn't have it because I came from another state where everybody.
I'm not talking about a homeowners association.
Yeah,
I'm talking about neighborhood association.
But if I may comment, can I say I did recommend that on June 4th in my email to Barbara, and I haven't heard back. So I would be more than happy to participate in volunteering to help get this project moving because I do think it's definitely needed. So let me know.
for sure. Well, I surely hope that we do something to either help the city or start something or help organize it for a volunteer organization like that for open space. I I don't even know how open space is doing. I used to do volunteer work at Bear Canyon when they were building that Bear Canyon Senior Center. There was a fight to get in as the first volunteers to be in that senior center. I couldn't believe it, from retired people, and it was brutal. And they were trying to get more hours than everybody else. And they were like, get out of the way, youngster. I was 25, and they were saying, I didn't have any kids. I said, I need to volunteer over here. Okay, I need the credit. Okay, it was tough. So, open space is doing something right. Do you want to take my 2 minutes? And then I have a motion.
Yeah, I actually don't need 2 minutes. I would like to respond to Mr. Wolf's comments about how he manages the weed problem in the parks.
Yeah, and first let me say, park management isn't in my purview of control, so
Okay.
my comments are meant to be generalities about how we've approached things over the last couple of years.
Okay, so I can understand with budget cuts that we get more into a reactive management approach than a proactive approach, so I completely buy into that. However, which the 311 system is a reactive management philosophy. We're basically going to wait until we get enough complaints before we do anything about it. But the problem is, as I mentioned on the very last page of my comments, the 311 system doesn't work. And it's one of the things that needs to be addressed with the city. So that, unfortunately, is not an effective way to try to address problems, because I personally have actually also experienced multiple times where they've closed the 311 complaint and there was nothing that was done. And for me, the most effective way is to call the mayor's office, which typically you don't want to have to do. But so I just want to add that comment.
Thank you very, very much. I do have a motion. I motion that we recommend Bill Nordine to be our representative on the Balloon Fiesta Park Commission.
I would second that.
Without objection? Don't we even want to discuss them?
Do we have any alternatives?
I'm afraid that we might, and they wouldn't be as strident, and this probably wouldn't help. So thank you for that. How do we do that? Do we just get a letter and send it to the mayor's office?
Letter.
Just
Sign
exactly
off
that?
by probably
Do you want me to call
Jeff.
Carmen and ask?
And then we'd probably forward that to constituent services. Alan Armijo, Carmen Ortiz. Yeah, it would be a good thing to have that.
Okay, well, last thing, what district are you in?
Yours?
Okay.
9? Yeah.
So it was appropriate. I didn't even think about that. So
What was appropriate?
Giving you to give you my time.
Oh!
You don't know me very well, do you? I like
Not yet.
For me to give up time is.
Well, I know you're very gracious, so I do appreciate that.
No. Thank you. Well, for all the stuff that nobody sees that I do. Thank you. That volunteer thing is epic.
I think
I don't know how we do it. We should be able to do it better than open space.
yeah,
I mean,
that will be our goal.
we're not telling you how to
Open
do your
Space has
job.
been doing it for years, and Open Space is at the stage right now where they sometimes turn or limit the number of volunteers because they can't handle,
The
like
bickering?
on the June 6th or June 7th when we did National Trails Day, I think their limit was 125 volunteers. And that just relates to the number of projects that they're able to manage with the people and tools and equipment and stuff that they have.
Well, and even just having somebody who's responsible to lead the monitoring of the
Yep.
park that's local, that can say, okay, and then pull people together. I just think, utilize the people, the volunteers, and the people that are most concerned about their immediate park, so
Can you,
that'd be great.
Derry, can you introduce Susan to the actual people in charge of open space that have the stroke to help, just to tell her what's going on without, so she doesn't have to go through the, hello, who do I talk to?
Yeah. You can use
Do
my
you
name.
mind doing that, Susan?
No, I don't mind at all.
And I,
We have some old business.
We-
really should.
so you're talking about Bill Kramer?
Yes, it is, we don't have old business on our agenda, but this has been pending for a long time, and we had 2 other members die.
Yep.
Richard Romero and Becky Tays, and we have memorialized both of them in very nice ways. Well, Bill was chairman of our group, and it seems like his is long overdue. And I think it was going to be some kind of a jazz,
Yeah, some type of musical.
something
band.
that he would have enjoyed.
Right.
And
What's the title?
we really need to get moving on that before all of us
Yeah.
retire
Hey,
out
hey,
that and we all
hey,
forget it.
hey, no, don't talk like that. No, I deal with that stuff every day, don't start that. You just mean before the end of the year,
Yeah.
maybe in the fall, in between the state fair and the
Well,
Balloon Festa.
probably not this year. We're not gonna be able to manage it.
But we need to get started.
But
on
it really would have been nice if we could have done it in conjunction, for instance, with maybe a balloon fiesta idea. It would have been a perfect perfect venue, wouldn't you think, Bill?
Plus the bikes, I mean,
Yeah.
aren't you guys allowing bicycles to just come in, right?
Yeah.
We can.
They
They
have a
already
ballet
have-
service.
they have a bike fillet for Mar Fiesta, that did very well last year.
Got a ton of business.
And because of that the state fair will also be doing a bike fillet this year.
Well, I would really like to
Not
aim
surprised.
toward next year, putting on the event, doing the bike and the jazz thing both together and memorializing Bill in maybe something that happens every year. I don't know, but that's what I would like to aim for.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
And maybe the 2 of you can get together with Mary Lou and make something happen.
Well, we need to
And,
get
Barbara Baca had a
Yeah.
real interest in that, and I know since she's retired, her dad passed away, and she's been a little diverted, but I think she'd be interested in sort of coming back and
Yeah.
helping with something like that.
Yeah.
That'd be
Did you say a
perfect.
jazz thing? Is it jazz?
Yeah.
Or
Or blues.
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 Venue first.
Yeah.
You know the difference between jazz and blues, right?
No.
2 fingers. You get it? Drinking,
I mean.
2 fingers in a bottle, drink, oh, okay, that's right. No, I'm sorry. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you.
Motion to adjourn?
Okay, Gary, who do I need to talk to open space volunteer to just get this started?
Well, the longtime